Hi guys, I'm excited to share my spinach lasagna roll-up recipe with you. This has been one of my most requested recipes. In fact, they are so delicious that I wanted to get a better picture to include with the recipe, but when I made them this time, my guys devoured them and there were no leftovers like I thought there would be to take a better picture. But they are delicious and they're actually pretty easy to make, so stay tuned and I will show you how to make them. First, I'll start by letting you know everything you'll need to make your spinach lasagna roll-ups. You're going to need a box of lasagna noodles. My box of noodles is 10 ounces and there are about 12 noodles in this box. So you'll want about 10 to 12 noodles. I am using brown rice pasta. You can use regular lasagna noodles if you prefer. And then you're going to need a 16-ounce container of cottage cheese. You'll need 3 to 4 cups of coarsely chopped spinach, and then you'll also need 2 to 3 tablespoons of fresh basil chopped, and I have that all in here. You will also need 1/4 to 1/2 of a cup of finely chopped red bell pepper. You can leave this out if you don't like it, but I think it gives a great flavor. And you'll want to make sure you finely chop them so that they cook all the way through. And then you'll also need 2 to 3 cloves of garlic minced and about 1/4 of a cup of chopped onion. I have all of that in there. You're going to need 1 egg. You'll need 1 teaspoon of dried oregano. And then you will need 1 teaspoon of salt and about 1/4 of a teaspoon to a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. You're also going to need 2 cups of shredded mozzarella cheese. 1 cup will go in the filling and then 1 cup is going to go on top. And then you're going to need marinara, and this really depends on how much you like. You can use 1 jar, or if you make it from scratch, probably 2 to 3 cups would be enough, but it kind of depends on how much sauce you like. That's going to go on top so it's not mixed in, so it just kind of, depends on how much you like. So first you're going to start by preheating your oven to 375 degrees. Then you'll want to cook your pasta according to the package. While your pasta is boiling, you can go ahead and get your filling ready. So in a large bowl, I have my coarsely chopped spinach and basil. I'm going to add my egg, red bell pepper, garlic and onions, the cottage cheese, salt, pepper, and dried oregano, all to this bowl. And I also added the 1 cup of mozzarella, and you're just going to mix this all together really well. And then you can prepare your baking dish. I like to spray it with olive oil spray just so that things don't stick. And then you're going to spread about 1/2 cup or so of the marinara on the bottom of the baking dish. Once your lasagna noodles are cooked, you're going to drain those, and I like to rinse them in cold water, and then you can just lay them out on a plate or a platter, and you're going to add about 2 tablespoons or so. You don't have to measure anything, and you're just going to spread it out along the lasagna noodles before you roll them up. And then you're just going to roll them up. The filling has a really nice consistency, so it stays together really well, and it is a lot easier if you have both hands. I am cooking with 1 hand here. And then you're just going to lay each of the spinach lasagna roll-ups on top of the marinara and continue the process until you use up all of your noodles. So here I have all of my spinach lasagna roll-ups. I did have a couple noodles that were broken, and you can kind of make it work and just kind of tuck them in. It's no problem at all. And then you're going to add all of your marinara. Now they are all set to go in the oven. I am going to bake them for 20 minutes first before I add the cheese. So they have baked for 20 minutes and I added the cheese. I just did it on half because that's what my family prefers. And then you're going to bake them for another 15 to 20 minutes until the cheese is nice and melted and everything is cooked through. And this is what they will look like when they are done baking. I just sprinkled a little bit of the dried basil on top. These are so good. Like I mentioned at the beginning, my family ate the entire dish. So I hope you'll give this recipe a try. Thank you so much for watching.